So before I begin this video, I hope everybody had a great Christmas and happy Boxing Day to our friendly neighbor up in the north. But as expected, there was not a lot of news that happened during this Christmas holiday, which means I'm not going to be doing my second news of the week video as I always do on a Saturday during MLS off season. But that also probably means that on Wednesday when I do my next news of the week episode, yeah, I am expecting to get absolutely slammed by headlines, and that there's definitely going to be a lot of news that I have to discuss. And that, on Wednesday when I did my last news of the week episode, that was probably the longest news of the week episode I've ever done. That was like 35 minutes long. Well, if there's going to be some more news that is going to be happening in these next couple of days, or just similar headlines that I have to dissect heading into the next news of the week episode, yeah, expecting that video is going to be just as long as the one that I did on Wednesday. But one news that I want to quickly talk about, and I don't want to wait until Wednesday to talk about in the news of the week, has to be Chris Wondolowski has officially signed a one-year contract with the San Jose Earthquakes. And the Quakes actually announced that on Christmas Day, which not only the fact that that was probably the best present that the Quakes gave me and all the Quakes fans in a very long time, but there has to be a lot of relief that I and many Quakes fan has to finally see that Wondo is going to be staying with the team for one more year, and most likely that is going to be his farewell season. I mean, coming into this offseason, Wondo really had two options. Either he decided to hang up his boots, or the fact that he's going to re-sign with the Quakes on a one-year contract, and that pretty much is his farewell season. And even though I know that Wondo was in the free agency market, and technically every team has the option and definitely has a way to potentially sign Wondo away from the Quakes for his farewell season, I would have been shocked if that was going to be the case. But for the past couple of weeks, there was definitely a lot of concern, and there was definitely a lot of anxiety in the Quakes fan base that maybe the worst is going to come, where maybe some other team is going to come and swoop in and give Wondo a one-year contract to finish his career there instead of being with the Quakes. Well, thankfully that is not the case anymore. As I mentioned yesterday, the Quakes officially signed him to a one-year contract, and that means that his final season his final season in his playing career is going to be with the Quakes. And that, next season, I know most likely MLS is not going to allow fans to, or not allow teams to have full capacity and have all the fans back in the stadium, even if the vaccine is going to be distributed. But if they are going to make one exception in one of these games, I hope it's going to be the last home game for the Quakes, and that most likely that's going to be the last time we're going to see Wondo playing at home in front of the fans. Because if there's anybody that deserve a proper send-off with a full capacity fans in the stadium, it has to be Chris Wondolowski. And again, I really hope that moment is going to come, and I'm definitely going to be there for that special moment. But that being said, from one legend that have just announced that he's going to be coming back with the Quakes for his final season, to another legendary player in MLS that have just announced his retirement a couple of days ago, and that of course is Kyle Beckerman. And as promised, I am going to do a career video about Kyle Beckerman, and I'm also thinking about doing a brand new series where I'm going to look at the career of some of these legendary MLS players. And I'll probably start this brand new series by looking at all those 25 players that was on the list of the 25 greatest MLS player of all time, and just kind of look at their career of why they are cemented as one of the greatest players to ever play in the league. And keep in mind, Kyle Beckerman was one of those players that end up to be on the list of the 25 greatest player to ever play in MLS history. And since we're now into the off season, and that pretty much I have a lot of time to kill and just the only content that I'm really making is the news of the week, and I need to fill in some gap in terms of those content that I usually do for reviews and previews video. I think fitting this new series alongside with the moving forward series, and also the throwback series that I'm going to be bringing back this off season, is going to be perfect to fill in those gaps before for the season begin, which again we have no idea when exactly next season is going to happen. But going back to this, and again talking about the career of Kyle Beckerman, not only the fact that Kyle Beckerman is going to be considered one, if not the greatest midfielder to play in this league, and that he is one of the greatest leader in this league and all the team that he's been playing, but he is really considered the Iron Man of MLS because he basically owns almost every single records, well, not almost, but every single records that has to do with endurance in terms of outfield player. He currently has the most game play of any outfield player in league history. He also started the most game of any outfield player in league history, and he also registered the most minutes of any outfield player in league history. But most importantly, there's no other MLS player to have ever played 20 seasons in MLS besides Kyle Beckerman, and that Kyle Beckerman is the only player to ever play in this league for more than 2 decades. But let's go all the way back to his first season in MLS, and actually let's go all the way back to 1999, because even though I didn't put this on the board, I just want to quickly mention that his youth career started with the IMG Academy, and he was part of the team that had a lot of future U.S. men's national team player, and he was also part of the U.S. youth national team in the U.S. under 17, which there was definitely a lot of players from that team that would turns out to be future U.S. men's national team player and just future legend of the U.S. men's national team. I believe one of those players was Landon Donovan, who besides the fact that he was on the U17 back in the late 90s, he was also in the IMG Academy. But in 2000, MLS Project 40 decided to sign Kyle Beckerman to his first professional contract. And if you guys don't know what exactly MLS Project 40 is, it's basically pretty much the same thing as General Adidas, although General Adidas didn't really exist until 2002, and that MLS Project 40 was really kind of something that basically gave all these young kids a chance to basically join the team, and that it was kind of like a stepping stone for all these players that eventually is going to either make the jump to go to Europe or potentially start their career in MLS, and that there was also a lot of legendary player in that MLS Project 40 and future U.S. men's national team player that was part of that team that either make the jump to go to Europe or the fact that they are going to start their legendary career in MLS. But just a couple of days after Beckerman signed with MLS Project 40, Miami decided to come in calling and decide to sign him to a contract too. And despite the fact that Kyle Beckerman was able to sign his professional contract with both MLS Project 40 and then later Miami Fusion, he did not make a lot of appearance with the MLS team that he signed with his contract. Like during his rookie season in MLS, he only started 2 games, and well, he only played 2 games, started 1, and only played 110 minutes. He did register a goal during his rookie season, but that was probably the most memorable thing you can say about Kyle Beckerman in terms of his rookie year. And during his second season and what would be his last season with the Miami Fusion, and really the last ever season for the Miami Fusion in whole as a franchise, he only played 1 game and played 14 minutes, and during that season he also suffered a broken leg, which was really the only serious injury that he suffered throughout his entire career. Like what makes Kyle Beckerman so great, and not only the longevity but also the amount of games that he was able to register, has a lot to do with the way that he's been able to stay healthy for majority of his career, and that was not only the last time where he only get minimal minutes with a team, but really after 2002 and when he had his breakout year in 2003, that was really the last time besides his very last season as a professional footballer in 2020 is when he registered no less than 20 starts with the team that he is playing. But during 2001, when the Fusion eventually folded, many of these players would go in the disposal draft, and I didn't think Beckerman was gonna get drafted by anybody in the disposal draft, knowing the fact that, this was a guy that he only played 3 games with the Miami Fusion, only appeared a combined 124 minutes, and only scoring a goal during that point. Nobody was going to potentially pick up a kind of a unknown player like him, and the fact that nobody would have thought that he would just become an absolute legend during that point. Well, the Colorado Rapids decided to take that risk, and yes, people forget that besides the fact that I know Beckerman is more known for his playing career with RSL, he was actually a Rapids player for a very long time, and in his first 8 season of his career, 6 of them was with the Colorado Rapids, and it all started in 2002 when he was able to pick up from the disposal draft from the Rapids, and even then he didn't really get regular minutes, but he did get the most minutes and the most start that he has ever had in his career, with 5 starts out of 14 games that he have appeared and 477 minutes, but he didn't register a goal and assist during that point. But that is until 2003, where again, this is where Beckerman had his breakout year, where he was able to start 24 games out of the 28 that he has played, logged in 2,124 minutes, scored no goals, but was able to register his first of what would be 3 assists that he had during that season. Then in the very next season, he would start 25 games out of the 29 that he had played, logged in 2,241 minutes, scored 1 goal and assisted 1 during that season. Before 2005, he would once again start 25 games, but this time able to appear in 30 of the games that the Rapids were in, and were able to log in 2,343 minutes and also scoring 1 goal and 1 assist during that mark. Now in 2006, this was also the year where Beckerman would log in the most minutes and most appearance that he has throughout his career, where he was able to start all 31 games that he was able to appear, and logged in 2,790 minutes, scored 7 goals and 1 assist. And oh, by the way, that 7 goals that he had that season is also the most that he has scored throughout his career. And really, this is when Kyle Beckerman was at the peak of his power with the Colorado Rapids, and that in 2007, a lot of people was kind of surprised the fact that eventually he was going to be traded away with the Colorado Rapids, and the team that he got traded away was something that you usually don't see a lot of players usually do nowadays, which is decide to trade it to a team that is your main rival. But that's what happened in the 2007 season when he was traded to RSL, and this was actually the only time that he was traded throughout his career, as the other time when he was with the Miami Fusion, he didn't really get traded. He just got picked up in the disposal draft. But during the middle of the season when he got traded to RSL, he was still making regular appearances, and in fact, during the spell where he was with the Rapids and RSL, he was still able to make 27 starts out of the 28 appearances that he had made, logged in 2,425 minutes while scoring 3 goals and 3 assists during that season. Now in 2008, this is where he really started to cement his legacy with RSL, and his legendary status with RSL really started this year, because this was also the year where he became captain of this team, and he wouldn't not have that role for a very long time, as in this season, his first full season with RSL, he was able to start 30 games out of the 30 that he appeared, logged in 2,683 minutes, scored 3 goals and 2 assists during that year. And then in 2009, this is when he was able to finally get to the point where every player would always want to get in MLS, which is finally win an MLS Cup. Because in this season where RSL was able to win MLS Cup, he was able to start 25 out of the 25 games that he appeared, 2,218 minutes, 3 goals and no assists during that point. And by the way, these 25 starts that he made, I don't think this actually includes playoff appearance, as when I checked the site that I use to look at the stats number, I don't think they actually included playoff appearance. So he actually probably appeared more than the 25 appearance that it wrote here on board, and that this was just his regular season total. But that being said, he also went, as I said before, he was able to reach to a point where a lot of players will want to get, and it's kind of a dream for all MLS players to get to one point, which is reach the peak of the mountain and finally win MLS Cup for the very first time. And then he also during that season would make his first ever MLS All-Star appearance, which would be one of 6 MLS All-Star appearances he would make during his career. Now in 2010, he was able to make 21 starts out of 22 games that he had played, but this was also the only season besides 2000, 2001, 2002, and the 2020 season where he has logged in less than 2,000 minutes and scored 2 goals and 3 assists. And I guess maybe the reason why he wasn't able to log as much minutes and didn't appear with RSL as much as previous year is because this was a World Cup year. And this was also a year where I think I remember Kyle Beckerman being on the U.S. men's national team during the World Cup, and that they, of course, made it all the way to the round of 16 before getting knocked out by Ghana. And knowing the fact that the MLS season was pretty much back underway by the time when we get close to the round of 16, RSL didn't have Kyle Beckerman for a couple of games, and that he had to miss his club team because he was still with the national team during World Cup duty. So it's understandable why he didn't get as much minutes as he did in previous year because he was at the World Cup. But then the very next year, he would be able to make 27 starts out of the 29 games that he appeared, logged in 2,424 minutes, and able to score 3 goals and 7 assists, which is his career best in terms of mark. And I think in terms of stats-wise, this was probably the best in terms of all the seasons that he's played, because if you want to add in goals and assists in total as a ratio, this was the best in terms of goals and assist ratio that he had ever had in his entire career. Now in 2012, he was able to start 29 games out of 30 that he appeared and was able to play 2,626 minutes, 2,626 minutes, and able to score 4 goals and 3 assists during that season. Before in 2013, this was also a year that RSL went to MLS Cup. He was able to start all 26 games that he has appeared, and in fact, this would be a season where it kicked off, where it wasn't until 2018 where he basically did not actually appear in the starting 11 in any of the start. Like all the appearances that he had made, he has at least been on the starting 11, and that I think he also owns one of the longest streak in terms of a player to be able to be in the starting 11 in all the appearances that they had. But during that season, as I said, that he was able to appear in 26 games and started 26 in that one, logged in 2,280 minutes, scored 4 goals and assisted 4 during that season, and went to his second MLS Cup, but unfortunately his team lost to SKC in a penalty shootout in that MLS Cup. And also keep in mind the 26 starts that he had in the 26 appearance, I don't think that also includes playoff appearance, so he actually probably logged in like 30 plus games during that season, which if you want to include the MLS Cup run that RSL basically made themselves in 2013. But in 2014, RSL was he was able to make 28 starts out of 28 appearances for RSL, register 2,520 minutes, and able to score 3 goals and 3 assists. Before the very following season, he was able to start 26 games out of the 26 appearances that he made in the regular season, 2,334 minutes, scoring 1 goal and 1 assist during that season. Before in 2016, 27 starts out of the 27 appearances, 2,336 minutes that he has registered. He didn't score a goal during that season, which was the first time since 2003 that he didn't score a goal, but he was still able to register an assist during that season, and that was also the last time that he made an All-Star appearance with the MLS All-Star. Before in 2017, he was able to start 26 games out of the 26 appearances he made, 2,240 minutes, 4 goals and no assists during that season. Before in 2018, he was able to start in 29 games and appeared 31 times for RSL and registered 2,622 minutes and scoring 1 goal and registered no assist during that point. This was also the season where, unfortunately, his record of being being in the starting 11 was broken during that point. But still, he was able to, despite that record being broken, he was still able to start. There are more games that he has ever had since the 2012 season, and one of the most starts that he has with RSL during that season. Now in 2019, this was really the final year where he was a regular starter for RSL, where he was able to start 24 games out of the 25 appearance that he had, and he played 2,000. He registered 2,127 minutes, and he of course was able to register 4 assists, but didn't score a goal. But then in the 2020 season, this was when we kind of start to see maybe the end of Kyle Beckerman, when he was only able to start 5 out of the 10 games that he played, only registered 390 minutes, which was the fewest that he has since the 2001 season, and he didn't register a goal and an assist during that mark. But I would kind of also maybe will say during this 2020 season, where since it's such a chaotic season, and that since there was so much uncertainty that has gone on, it's still kind of incredible the fact that Beckerman was able to register that many starts and that many games played, despite the fact that usually when you see a player that was near the end of the career, you and put in the craziness that has happened, you wouldn't think he would be making a lot of appearance for the team, but yet Kyle Beckerman still made some appearance with the team. And that, I remember back in the middle of the season, he even said that he had no plans of thinking about retiring, and he even said that he's going to continue to go until his wheel kind of fall off. Well, unfortunately, his wheel kind of did eventually fall off, and that, as we said just a couple of days ago, he officially announced his retirement. But that being said, in terms of the total mark and in terms of the games that he has played, again, he currently leads the league in the history of the most appearance by an outfield player of all time, with 498 games that he's played. I mean, if only he can play another year and make maybe two more appearances, he would have reached the 500 club, and he would only become one of two players that actually reached the 500 mark in terms of gameplay. The only one, of course, is his longtime teammate Nick Raimondo, who, by the way, is the all-time leader in MLS in terms of gameplay. The same can goes with the game starts, where if you want to include all kinds of player, not just outfield player, he's also second in terms of that list with game starts behind Nick Raimondo. Same with minutes played, 41,161 minutes is second all time in terms of MLS as minutes, besides Nick Raimondo, who owns that title. But again, in terms of outfield player, no outfield player that have ever registered that many game play and that many games start, and also the minutes that he has registered, like what Kyle Beckerman has done throughout his career. Now, throughout his career, he was able to score 41 goals. Again, he was a holding midfield, and you don't expect holding midfield to score a lot of goals, but 41 is still definitely a decent amount of number. Whereas in the assist chart, 55 assists in his career total. Again, respectful number for a holding midfielder like Kyle Beckerman. But besides those kind of stats in terms of goals and assists, and I really think goals and assists isn't really something that make him such a legendary player. It's just the longevity and the pure consistency of him being able to appear with the team, whether it's with Colorado or RSL throughout his career, is what makes him such a legend in this league. And that there's no doubt that, not only the fact that he have already named as the 25 greatest player to ever play in this league, but if the league decided to maybe do a list of what they think is the greatest player of all time, he's probably going to at least be in the top 10 with just such a legendary status that he has really cemented in this league. And that, I'm pretty sure that there is the only thing that maybe is a little bit kind of bittersweet, I would say, about Kyle Beckerman, is that at least he didn't, well, I wouldn't say at least, but unfortunately he didn't really get a proper send-off, and that, You know, unlike how I said earlier, Wando probably is maybe going to get a proper send-off. I don't think a lot of RSL fans thought that this was kind of the year where he decided to basically announce his retirement, especially after what he said back in mid-July, where he was saying he had no plans of potentially retiring. But that being said, I think he kind of knew that his time was eventually up. And knowing the fact that, you know, with so much uncertainty that is going to continue heading into next season, I feel like he knew that this was the right time to retire. And I respect the fact that he knew this was the right time to retire, because heading into next season, even if he's going to come back, I'm not quite sure he's going to be a regular starter for this RSL team. And, you know, who knows what kind of craziness is going to continue to happen heading into next season. But that being said, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? And also, so if you're an RSL fan or just an MLS fan in general, or even a U.S. men's national team fan, what is your favorite moment in terms of Kyle Beckerman? I mean, I definitely had a lot of favorite moment of him during his career, and that I think it would be too long to kind of list in this video to kind of continue to prolong the video. But that being said, let me know in the comments below, what do you think is your favorite moment from Kyle Beckerman? And that, yeah, I mean, it's definitely sad to see such a legendary career that has kind of finally come to an end. But I think we can always appreciate what Kyle Beckerman has done throughout his career, and that he will always consider one, if not the greatest player to ever play in this league, and one of the greatest holding midfield player to ever play in this league. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.